Hello everybody, this will be my review for The Matrix Resurrection. There will be no spoilers in this video, so let's get to it. Now, I have mixed feelings about this movie. Now, this movie relies too much on nostalgia and the movie is super meta. Now, the movie has interesting elements and clever ideas in some spots, but this movie just decorated uh, a lot of moments from the first Matrix here, and the movie is self-aware of what it is, but it just didn't work for me. I'll say that this movie, there was something missing about this movie, and I think the vibe and the tone is very different from the Matrix trilogy from the other films. And this movie doesn't feel like a fourth film in the franchise. So, and the movie, it doesn't bring nothing new in terms of the story, in terms of the commentary, people's on the phone, technology, franchise. It doesn't really bring something new to the story. And in terms of the VFX, the visual effects, they are great, really amazing visual effects, especially by the end of the movie, really great ones. But the first Matrix was just a revolution in terms not only in story but in VFX. So I didn't see something really. I didn't see something new in this movie that I haven't seen before. So that's it. Now this movie directed by Lana Wachowski. Now the Matrix trilogy was directed by this duo, the Wachowski, and only Lana returned here, and she directed this. And I'll say that I think it was this movie is better than the last two movies of the Matrix, Matrix 2 and 3, but it still falls behind. If it's just the movie, I think the movie gets progressively worse as the movie goes on. So yes, it's a problem. Now this movie is theaters worthy. Now I'll say this: if you are a fan of the Matrix, especially if you really like Matrix 2 and 3, I'll say yes, go watch the in theaters. I say that you're going to have a good time, especially if you like those two. But otherwise, I think you you can watch the. I think the movie is still worth watching, but if you only want like the first Matrix or you haven't seen them, I recommend you go watch them on HBO Max. The movie is on HBO Max. Now, there's also promises, and this movie put things for the future of the franchise, and there are like so many things that we don't get the resolution. And that's what I means by promises, and promises that if this movie is not successful, so we're not going to see those things. So instead of making those things for this story and this movie and make a really great movie and not focusing so much of the future of the franchise. And I think this movie and this franchise needs a new director, a visionary director. Now the Wachowski created this, and they did for the most part a really good job. It's a really successful franchise. So I still will have them as producers, but I think they could really mm, this franchise really needs a new director, especially if they're going to make another movie or another series, bring something new. Now, this movie also used a lot of old footage from the previous Matrix movies. It's all over the place. Now, let's talk about basically Morbius, played by Yahya Abdul the second. Now, I'm a big fan of Yahya. He's a very talented actor, and he's getting so much things in Hollywood, series and movie, and I'm really looking forward to seeing and everything he's in. But sadly, he didn't. He didn't connect with me in this movie, and I think it's very hard to see him, especially if once it's a clip it was released, so it's not a spoiler. But he's talking to Neo, and behind him is an old footage of Morbius, Lawrence Fishburne Morbius from the first Matrix. So it's a bit distracting, and it just and his character overall, it just I didn't find him really that necessary for the story of this movie. So it was really really weird. Now, let's talk about Lawrence Fishburne and Hugo Weaving. Now, Lawrence Fishburne, he he in the Matrix trilogy he played Morbius, and Hugo Weaving Agent Smith. Now, they are not here, and this was very weird decision from the studio and the filmmakers, because Lawrence Fishburne wanted to be in this movie, but they never asked him to be in this movie. So it was pretty weird. And Hubert Weaving wanted to return also, but he had a scheduling conflict. He was doing a play, so he couldn't do it, but he wanted to. It was just pretty weird is of not not bringing those two actors back to this iconic roles. Now, let's talk about Keanu and Carrie Ann Moss. Now, their dynamic is just phenomenal. They really pick up right where they left off, and they look super cool, and the conversation are really great. Now, I had to say that Ann Moss, she's not really in a lot of this movie, so it was pretty weird. Now, I really liked them, they were basically my favorite part of this movie. Now, let's talk about Neil Patrick Harris and Jonathan Groff. Now, Neil Patrick Harris he is so great in this movie, and I like when he plays this type of characters. And Jonathan Groff, basically his Agent Smith. So I didn't have a problem with him, even though Hugo Weaving, who was the original Agent Smith. Jonathan Groff really is something about his captivating performance here, and he's so great playing the as the villain He's just so, and he not only is great in the performance of his expression and his acting, but also in the action sequences. He really delivers. Now, also one of the problems this movie has is too many characters, way too many characters, and that really hurts the film. Now, if this movie is worth watching, yes, I will. I still recommend you go watch it. It depends if you are a big fan of the Matrix or not. But still, I think the movie is still worth watching. And I'm curious to see where they take this franchise next, because I think there's a lot of potential in this franchise, in the mythology and the world that is created here. And also a big shout out to Jessica Henry. She's really good in this movie also. Now, this movie also has an end credit scene. I won't give any details of the scene, but just to let you know that yes, it has an end credit scenes. Now, in conclusion, I think that if you if you only watch the first Matrix and you like it, or if you haven't seen any of the Matrix, I'll say that it's worth watching, but watch HBO Max. Now, if you're really a big fan of the Matrix trilogy overall, but I'll say that yes, it's worth going in theaters, and especially for the VFX, visual effects of the movie. Now, I will also recommend you watch at least the first Matrix movie before watching this. It's going to help you a lot. Trust me on that. So, yes, that's my review for The Matrix. It's now in theaters and on HBO Max. So, if you already watched the movie, let me know in the comments below. What do you think? If you like it, if you didn't like it, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and consider subscribe to the channel. And also, happy holidays to you all. So, thank you. Goodbye.